We only accept CSV format files for mailing lists. We no longer accept Microsoft Excel files. If you have an Excel file, you can simply convert it to a CSV format by doing a file save as in Excel. If you need further help, please Google the term, Convert Microsoft Excel to CSV. Click on the gray button, Select File, to choose the mailing list to be used for this job. You may also drag and drop your CSV file into this area. This page will appear once your file has been uploaded into the system. The system will count the records in your list and show them here. Make sure this is the quantity you are expecting. If the quantity is not what you are expecting, then open your CSV file and inspect it. The system will also change the quantity you initially entered in the price calculator with the quantity shown here, if your initially entered quantity was different. Note that you do not see your entire list on this page. The system will only show you the top 50 names. Enter a description for your list here that will help you identify the content of this list. By default, the system enters your CSV file name as the description initially. But you may change it to something more descriptive if you wish. The titles from your uploaded CSV file appear here. Next, you will map a field type to each one of your columns by choosing a field from the drop-down selection that represents the content of that column. For instance, you choose Address 1 from the drop-down for the column that includes your street addresses. You only need to map field type for the columns that are being used in your mailing. Often you may receive a mailing list from a vendor that will give many additional fields which you are not using in your mailing. Use the designation, Don't Include, for columns not being used in the mailing. If your uploaded CSV file is using commonly known field names on row 1, then the system may recognize the column, and auto-map the correct field type, which you will see on the top drop-down. You will see Don't Include for the columns where the system was unable to map the field type. You will need to review each column with the Don't Include on the top drop-down and map the correct field type if the column is being used in the mailing. Leave the top drop-down unchanged as Don't Include if the column is not being used for the mailing. Also note that depending on the number of columns in your list and your computer screen size, you may have to use the horizontal scroll bar to move to the right to see the rest of your columns. After mapping all the fields from the drop-down, click here to review your final results. Click on the Back button here to go back and make any changes. Click on Save and Continue if everything looks good. Your newly mapped mailing list appears as number 1 here. If you have additional mailing lists which you'd like to use with this mailing job, upload the additional file in the same manner. Then click on the blue Select button for the list or multiple lists that you would like to use for this job. The selected list or lists will be moved here and tallied. Note that your cart quantity will be changed to the total shown here if this quantity is different than the quantity you initially entered in the price calculator. Click Upload and Save to proceed. We highly recommend that you download the sample file from here. If you use the field names from row 1 of this sample file on your mailing list, then all your fields in your mailing list will be automatically recognized, and you will not have to map them manually.